Okay, I wanted to do this little Kahr Cm9 review, quote unquote. I gotta do all this shit over because I just accidentally uh, turned my recording off on my last one. But anyways, I got it from Bud's gun shop the other day and I took it to the range. This is a Kahr Cm9. Now, as I was just said on my last recording, I paid $317 from Bud's, no tax, free shipping, can't beat that. And then the FFL dealer I use is a $15 transfer fee, so $332 out the door for this guy. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. As I was also mentioning in my last recording, I took it to the range and I didn't keep count of how many rounds I shot through it, but I probably shot in the area of 30 to 50 rounds, several magazines. Probably closer to 50 rounds, and I didn't have at least 40 probably. And I didn't have a single malfunction of any type whatsoever. And this is with cars that are supposed to have a 200 round break-in period, so not a bad deal at all on that. But yeah, functioned completely flawlessly. I would say there's one little hiccup, and it wasn't even a function problem, but the first thing, I wanted to shoot up some old ammo, and I had some old hollow points that I had in my Glock, and they're several years old. I mean, the bullets are all brown and everything else. They still worked fine, but who knows how old they were. Probably 10 years old easily, maybe even longer, I don't know. But there's some hollow points, some self-defense, some critical defense type of rounds. I don't think they were critical defense brand, but, they're way more expensive than regular ammo. They come in a little box, fancy box, and they're high dollar self-defense ammo, basically. And they're hollow points, so I wondered how it would feed in it. They seem to be like a little longer than just ball ammo, I don't know. So there's fancy schmancy hollow points, maybe a little longer, if that makes any sense, than normal rounds. And when the very first magazine I popped in, the slide was already back, I think, locked back, and I dropped it, and I dropped the slide. It didn't, if I remember, it didn't chamber that first round cleanly. I think I had to rack the slide. But, that wasn't an actual, I fired a shot and it didn't. That was like I was dropping the slide on a round and it didn't go in all the way the first time. That was literally the very first round the gun ever touched. First magazine, all that. So, and that was from just a locked slide position, not from firing anything. So I don't even know why I mentioned that. Who cares? Other than that, perfect. Absolutely perfect. With any ammo, I used 2 or 3 different kinds of ammo. I think I used some old ball I had, some Full Metal Jacketed ball ammo, some new ball I have, and some in those self-defense rounds, the hollow points I was talking about. Yep, functioned perfectly, which is very cool. I don't have any, worries about that. I was shocked at how small the gun is when I first picked up the gun shop. At first I thought it was like, man, this thing is like almost Ruger LCP size, because it is. Kind of. But here's my dilemma that I also wanted to make this video about a little bit. It's a 6+1 capacity. It only comes with one 6-round mag, which is kind of a bummer. Honestly, as I said, I had mentioned in some other videos, though, there's a reason. One thing I don't like about it is that the magazine sticks out just a tiny bit. I don't know why. That just kind of annoys me. Mainly because I kind of had this feeling it could get snagged on something and get ripped out in a firefight or something. Now, I know that odds are 1 in a billion that would ever happen and everything, and it's more, me being kind of OCD about it. It's not a big deal, but yeah, I would prefer it sat completely flush, which it doesn't. It also just looks a little janky. I didn't even notice it until I know somebody made a comment on some message board I was reading about the car. He said, "Oh, I hate how that mag sticks out. It bugs me so much," or something. And that's when I first even realized it, I think. And I was like, yeah, it does stick out. So it's not a big deal, but yeah, it does stick out a little. I don't know if they should have done a plastic mag base plate that covers this whole area or something like that. Make it flush. Whatever, not a big deal. 6-round mag, like I said, one negative, it only comes with one magazine. That kind of bugs me because the extra magazines are expensive. They generally run about 40 bucks. I mean, it's crazy. You're talking about a $330 gun, and talking about a magazine that's adding 40 bucks to that. And I seriously thought about buying an M&P Shield with this because I could have, and I'm gonna get to that as the video goes on, but the thing about the M&P Shield is not only was it available for around $225-ish because it has a $75 rebate right now, if you count the rebate anyway, but it comes with two magazines, a 7 and an 8-rounder. And that second magazine, like if I keep this, I'm probably gonna almost certainly gonna have to buy another magazine. Not have to, but I will. And once I buy the other magazine for another 40 bucks, it becomes like I'll have essentially paid $370 for this. Where I could have got an M&P Shield probably for, $240, something like that. Out the door counting the FFL fee. So $240 versus $370 is a significant price difference, And the fact that it only comes with one magazine and the Shield comes with two only exacerbates it. But yeah, it's very small. It's a little heavy though, as you'd expect. One thing is I saw another video. Kahr actually lies about this gun. Not lies, but if you look on their spec sheet, it says that the gun weighs 14 ounces unloaded and with no magazine. And then it says with unloaded with magazine, 15.9 ounces. I saw a video where a guy said like it came in 1 ounce heavier than Kahr said. I don't know if they're just using an old weight on their website. They changed the gun a little and they haven't updated the weight. But that was my experience too, because I noticed right away when I weighed it, it came in, I think, unloaded with magazine. It's, I think, 16.8. And it's supposed to come in at 15.9 unloaded with magazine, according to the website. So it's about 1 ounce heavier than they say, which is kind of a big deal for me, who was kind of stressing and agonizing over every ounce. This thing's 1 ounce heavier than it claims. I believe I loaded the I can get a scale right now, but with put a 6-round loaded mag in. I didn't put one in the chamber, so it wasn't holding 7, but it was holding 6. I think it weighed 19.2 ounces, which for comparison, my Glock 19, which is a double stack 15-shot 9, still fairly compact, weighs in I think 30 point something with fully loaded, and like 23 without being loaded. So this is not that significantly lighter. You're talking what did I say, 16.8. So you're talking about 17 ounces unloaded versus only probably about 23 for the Glock unloaded. But this is much smaller dimensionally, and still 6 ounces is not nothing. But I have noticed that these guns can get really small, but there's kind of a weight floor to them. They tend to be heavy. You can get them in a compact package, but that weight's not going anywhere for the most part. They're all, the lowest you can see is for 9 is about 17 to 20 ounces. But as I said, I did all my research and homework, and dimensionally, as far as I know of all the major 9s, this is the smallest. Like, it's smaller than the Kahr Cm9. It's significantly smaller than a M&P Shield. It's smaller than a Glock 43. It's smaller than everything. It's only 5.4 inches long, I believe. It's pretty much the tiniest 9. The only one I don't remember checking the specs on was the Beretta Nano, but it's tiny. It's smaller than all the other little 9s. The Ruger LC9 is another big one. It's smaller than that, dimensionally meaning, and weight wise too, for that matter. I don't know of another 9 that's this small weight wise. But I will say, here's my dilemma with this after I got it. I got it originally on the idea that it was possible to pocket carry, because that's the only way I want to concealed carry, any inside the waistband or outside the waistband, any kind of holster like those. They just don't work for me. I don't like them. They dig into me. Seems, just a big pain. The way my shirts hang or something, it just doesn't seem like it works. So it's pretty much pocket carry or bust. And I'm sad to report, I really wanted this to be pocket carryable. I assumed it probably would. My jeans have big pockets. sad to report that more or less I have to say I do not consider this particularly pocket carryable, and it's something that you can watch all the videos you want, but until you test it for yourself, you don't know, you know. And I have to say it's pretty heavy, so it kind of sags your pants down. Or, you know, the belt does that fine. I'm just saying, like, you know, put a brick in your pocket. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's just not fun to have a lot of weight in your pocket or easy, you know. And this is a pretty hefty weight, you know, no matter how you want to slice it. Another thing is, even being as small as it is, it takes up a lot of my pocket, and it almost peeks out the top is another pretty big issue because people could see it, you know. I mean, it almost fills my whole pocket to the point where, and I have big pockets in my jeans, but to the point where you can kind of, it holds open the top of the pocket a little bit, if that makes any sense. And like, if you were behind me in line at a store or something like that, depending on the way, whether my shirt was covering it or not, and all, you know, different factors, but I could see almost being able to see this gun in my pocket. So yeah, and, you know, it's not that big, but it's big enough to do that. It prints as well. You know, if you were to just pop it in your pocket with no holster like this, it prints pretty bad. Not to mention it'd be sliding around. Even with holsters, it prints. That's what's bad. I've noticed some of the holsters even seem to almost make it print worse. I've only tried it didn't come with any holster either, by the way, which my Ruger LCP did. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed because the original idea was I needed a truck 9mm, something I'm just going to throw into the seat of my truck. But I figured at the same time, why not see if it can do double duty? And I had just got a Ruger LCP for pocket carry, but I was like, if I could get a 9, you know, it's a much better round, and I feel like any 9 is a lot more reliable than the 380, just by the nature of the cartridge being more. I read somewhere that because the 9 is more powerful, it's more reliable, and that seems to be true because if you go on the internet, there's tons of complaints about 380s being not reliable. And heck, I used to have a Caltech P3AT that wasn't reliable. Whereas 9s almost always seem to be reliable, and this one seems to bear it out, you know. Small, tiny as it is, it's you know, it functions flawlessly. So, you know, the more power and the more reliability, I was hoping it could kind of do double duty as maybe a pocket carry. Maybe not as easy as a pocket carry, but still pocket carry and the truck gun thing. But here's the thing, like, since it's not pocket carryable really, from what I've decided so far, you know, maybe I'll change my mind later and say, oh, you know, you can get by with it in the pocket, whatever. But as of now, I'm deeming it fairly not pocket carryable for anybody on the fence about this. And if it's not pocket carryable, then nothing else will be because it's the smallest, lightest 9 that I know of, you know. So anything like an M&P Shield or LC9 is just going to be even less pocket carryable because they're all bigger and heavier, you know, if only slightly. So yeah, that's my bad news. It has to deem it not that pocket carryable. In which case, now it just throws the whole thing into question because what's the point of it as a truck gun with only a 6-round mag? That's what bugs me about it. You know, if you get into a little trouble or you need to defend yourself, whatever, on your truck, you know, it's only 6 rounds. If I was just going to get a truck gun, I would have got a cheap. I was looking at the Smith & Wesson SDVE, which is only runs about $299. That was my original plan to get for a truck gun, which is like a 16-round double stack. You know, that's a big difference to a 6-rounder. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed because the, you know, like the premise was this could be a dual like pocket carry truck gun. Now that it can't pocket carry, it's not going to be the best truck gun either because of its extremely limited capacity. So I really kind of almost am wishing at this point that I'd have got the M&P Shield. For one, it would have saved about $100. You know, possibly more if you consider this magazine issue. I really like that the Shield comes with 2 magazines, and one's a 7-shot and one's a 8-shot. That's another key thing. So the Shield has quite a bit more capacity. The 8-shot of the Shield does stick down a little like this, but the way it's basically just a little bit. If you see pictures of it, it doesn't really stick down like this. It's designed different. So it juts out just a little, but it fits all flush with the contours of the gun. There's not this like weird looking, like where it just sticks out. And I read somewhere that the M&P Shield is basically slightly double stacked. Like it's a single stack 9, but the bullets are like slightly off center, it's almost like a baby double stacked. They're partially side by side in the magazine just a little bit. And that's what enables it to have that extra capacity. A 7-round base without being really, just still being about as small as all the other pocket 9s. So the M&P Shield has a 7-round base, and it comes with a 8-round that's also, in my opinion, pretty much does not stick out. This thing does have some high capacity magazines, but they stick out. There's a 7-round, and it basically has a big plastic butt, and to me it looks pretty ugly. It doesn't even take up this whole area. It's about as wide as this thing. And it just goes down it's black plastic and goes down like another inch or half inch, whatever. It sticks out pretty bad. It's pretty ugly. It just doesn't look right. It's very glommed on looking because like I said, the M&P Shield is just much better design in that aspect, I would say. And then there's an 8-rounder that actually sticks out like this far. I mean, it's crazy. And it has like a half inch of just metal and then a thick plastic base plate, and it just sticks out like extended magnet sticks out. And for only 8 rounds, I mean, geez, it's not like it's a 15-round magazine or something that sticks out that much. Whereas the M&P Shield can fit 8 in it and still look like a normal gun. It doesn't even look like it sticks out, So that I kinda wish I'd have got the M&P Shield in a lot of ways now, because I really wish I had, the fact that it was so much cheaper, the fact that you can fit 2 extra rounds in it with the 8-shot magazine that comes with it. That's another super nice aspect of that. So I feel like as a truck gun, the M&P Shield would have been a lot better, because I could live with 8 shots and 1 in the chamber. That's 9 shots. You're getting into pretty good territory there. This thing, you're sitting at 6, 1 in the chamber, 7, Still kind of bugs me. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, there's a couple things I'm thinking of. I could just keep this, of course. That's my first option. And unfortunately, I feel like it's going to cost me. I'm thinking like I may want to basically trade this out for an M&P Shield. I feel like the M&P Shield now, if I'm getting a truck gun, I could just get a double stack something. That's fine, but I kind of would like something compact. So an M&P Shield seems nice. Everybody seems to love it, and it's very compact, and it has a good capacity. So I think it'd make a good truck gun. Also something you could stick in your waistband if you thought you encounter some trouble or something. So yeah, that's the issue I have with this. It's nice, but the 6-round capacity is a little annoying. So I don't know what I'll do. I think the rebate on this M&P Shield is up in pretty soon, June 1st maybe. So maybe June 30th, but I think June 1st, and it's May 17th. So there's not much time left to get that rebate. So I don't know what I'll do. I'd have to sell this to basically cover the cost of the Shield. And the problem is I feel like I'll probably lose money on the transaction one way or another. Like I was thinking of just taking this to a gun show. It's hard for me to get to gun shows anyway because I'm busy on the weekends. So that's an issue. But even if there's not gun shows that often where I live, there will come like once every 3 months or so. And I can drive to Dallas, and they have gun shows pretty much every weekend, but that's a big hassle. You're talking $20 in gas for me to get there and back. I live probably around 100 miles from Dallas. I'm not really familiar with the area. I can get there obviously, but I mean it's just a hassle. So I'd have to do all that, just to try to trade this on a Shield. And I bet you a dealer's not going to trade me straight up. Used car for a Shield. I think the car's a little more expensive than the Shield, but not counting the rebate, they're about the same. So nobody's going to trade like a used gun for a brand new gun, and I'd only want a brand new gun. Don't ask me why, but I always like all my products brand new. So, yeah, they're going to ask for probably 50, maybe even $100 along with this gun. So it's going to cost me, significantly to trade this for a shield, probably. And I don't even know, where to do it, so to speak. So yeah, I would like if I could just trade this in for a shield right this second, I probably would at this point. The only thing this has going for it is it's more compact than the shield. But as I said, if it's not pocket carryable, I don't see the point. I think I would be happier with the shield because the shield's not pocket carryable either, but it has the 8 round and the 7 round mags and 2 mags and all that good stuff. The shield would make a much better truck gun, basically a compact truck gun with a decent capacity. Now, my other option is I could buy, like I said, the 8 round sticks out a lot and it's very ugly, and I don't think I even really want that. And it bugs me again that I feel like it could get ripped out, caught on something. Now, the 7 round is not too egregious. All it does is stick like a fat, ugly base plate on here. Still looks pretty ugly, but it's not as bad as the 8 round. So I'm thinking I could get that for about $40, and okay, I'd have one less round than the shield, but I guess that's not the end of the world. You'd have a 7 rounder plus one in the chamber. You'd have an 8 round capacity, and that way all I have to do is buy a new magazine for $40. I don't have to go through all the hassle of trading this for a shield or selling this and using the money to buy a shield. Or, like I said, one other problem is I think the shield rebates are about up. In that case, it becomes not as good of a deal, So, I don't know. Like I said, just thinking about it just now, I'm thinking the better option might be a lot less trouble anyway. Just buying the 7 round mag for this, sticking that in it and sticking it under the seat as a truck gun, and I still have the option to use this mag as a carry gun, And it does have the advantage of being more compact than the M&P Shield for what that's worth. But again, it doesn't seem pocket carryable, so I don't really see the point. So yeah, again, the trigger is pretty rough. It's straight double action. It's not like a Glock. I shot this and then I shot my Glock. And I didn't realize, but the Glock has a way better trigger. This is straight double action, just because it's double action. And I realized all the car triggers so good. I don't know what those people are talking about. Maybe it's good for a double action or something like that. I don't know. It's not like I'm the world's expert on guns or something, but it's a fine trigger. I'm not saying it's like, oh, the trigger's so hard, but it's double action. It's like a revolver, basically, a double action revolver kind of. And that's not always the most pleasant thing to shoot. Like I said, I shot this and my little LCP. They're both the double action. And then I shot my Glock 19, and man, the Glock 19 was a whole lot smoother which has kind of a single action pull almost on the Glock. I used to think the Glock pull was kind of heavy, but which it is compared to a true single action. But the Glock pull is basically, much lighter and crisper than these. But it's doable, it's fine. It's just be aware that it's basically a double action trigger. No, basically, it is a double action trigger. So it's not the smoothest thing to shoot. Accuracy, I believe it was shooting to the right, but I'm not that worried since I'm only going to be shooting at like 7 yards in. It's hard to hit anything with either this or the LCP. It's funny because I was shooting these Coke cans, and from like 7 yards, it would take me 3 or 4 shots to hit the damn Coke can. And 7 yards is like not far, so it's tough to hit much with these little guns. It's not the gun's fault. It's just the nature of a very tiny 3.8. It's the same with the LCP. Same with this. Same with I have a little North American Arms 22 mag revolver. Same with it. Even worse. It's just hard to hit much with these little tiny guns. Then it was funny. I'd switch to my AR, and I'd be 30 yards away, just bam, just every shot, drilling those Coke cans. I didn't miss one. it's just funny. And then I did a little paper shooting, and I was practically putting them in the same damn hole, literally, with my AR. Like, I'd fire 2 shots, and they were almost in the same hole. And it's amazing how accurate those ARs and rifles in general are compared to a pistol. But yeah. Yeah, I think it was shooting a little to the right, but a lot of it is I have a tendency to jerk, so I've always known this about my shooting. I have a tendency to, like, if I shoot and a round doesn't go off, maybe like the slide didn't close or something on my LCP, and I shoot and there's no round, I'll go like this. I've always had that problem. It's something I'm aware of that I forgot. I think there's a name for it, but where you kind of anticipate, flinch, I guess. You anticipate the shot and you pull because, I don't know, you flinch, It's not good, but it's something I've always had, and I try to control. I have to consciously be like, okay, don't, hold it steady, follow it through, So I think I was flinching a lot. All the shots seem to be going a little right. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the accuracy. I didn't adjust the sight because I didn't bring it. I think there's like a tool that comes with it. I didn't even really look at all the stuff this came with. I just opened it and started messing with it right away. But there's some kind of little tools that are in the box. I think one of them is like a windage adjustment. Should take a look at that and maybe do a windage adjustment next time I'm at the range or whatever. Because it seems shooting a little right, like I said, but nothing much. And like I said, I'm looking at this as like a 7-yard gun, so I'm not too worried about where the rounds are going. To be honest, it's almost more of a point and shoot. Sights is an afterthought. But yeah, another issue is just like on my LCP, I noticed that the magazine's not the smoothest. Do you see how that's not how it's a very weak, like it cooks in nicely, but like listen to it when I depress the mag release. First of all, it's hard. Like if you were to just shoot and try to do it here, you can barely do it. I did it that time, of course, but so you kind of almost have to shift the gun and do like this. It's just kind of hard to press, and then it's not real. See, like that's fully depressed. Now if I pull on it, it's gonna come out. Well, it didn't, but it's not the smoothest mag release. There, I did it again, just like my LCP. Like I really got to mash on that to get it out. And if I was just shooting and trying to do it like that, I mean it will, but it's just not the smoothest. I don't know if that's normal or it's not something I'm gonna turn the gun over, but it's a little obnoxious. It's not the smoothest, most clean break on the mag release there. Another thing is there's a plastic mag release, which I thought I was reading one video where the guy was saying like, oh, anything, or comments. Guy was all like, oh, if anything has a plastic mag release, it's gonna wear down over time and naturally, and then it's gonna stop working. I don't know, I think a lot of guns have these plastic mag releases, so it can't be that big of a deal. Yeah, other than that, it's a nice gun. Like I said, not a single failure to function, so that's nice. Very compact. As I said, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do going forward, but probably I'll spring for the 7-round mag. Now, you can get the mags generally run about $40 suggested retail. I went to Academy, and the Academy has a lot of mags for the popular guns, like they have Shield mags and stuff like that. But they don't have Kahr mags. I guess the Kahr's not popular enough. So, for what that's worth, at least my Academy did not have Kahr mags hanging on the shelf. They do have Smith & Wesson Shield mags, and then Ruger LCP mags, and Glock mags, the big brands. But Kahr didn't make the cut, I guess. But online, the MSRP on the new extra mags is about $40, which is about what they all are. All that OEM mags for Smith & Wesson and everything else run about $35-$40. But there's a place called cheaperthandirt.com that sells them for like $29.97. And then I've gone through the checkout process. It ends up being about $35 after shipping. But that's still, or even maybe $33, $34. That's still significantly less than, like I know I was looking at a mag for my LCP. It's $34.99 at Academy. But you got to figure 8.25% sales tax. You figure that out, and it comes out to like 38 something. And if you figure out at cheaper than dirt, same LCP mag, it comes out to like 33 or 34. So it's not a huge deal, but you're saving $4 or $5. And to me, somehow psychologically, like 30 some bucks, or low 30s seems a lot different than almost 40. And even though it's like $4, 34 somehow psychologically to me, I go, oh, that's $30. And 38, I go, oh, that's $40. So I think, oh, that's a big difference. $10. Really it's $4, but I don't know, just psychologically, something about being low 30s is a lot more appealing to me than it being high 30s. So, but yeah, I think the 7-round mag on this was $29.97 or something at cheaperthandirt.com, which will work out to $33.34 after shipping. Not horrendous, but not great. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the car. Disappointment that it's not pocket carryable. But as I said, either may trade it in for Shield, but that doesn't seem like the way to go. Easiest thing to do, I'll probably just end up getting a 7-round mag and sticking that in it when it's my truck gun. 7 in the mag, 1 in the chain. And the 7 doesn't stick out too far. It does, but it's not as ridiculous as the 8, which sticks way out. So I'll probably just get the 7, put the 7 in it as when it's my quote unquote truck gun. 1 in the chamber, 7 in the mag, be 8. Not too bad. But yeah, if I had to do over, I might have gone with the Shield. It's a tough call. But then again, this is more compact than the Shield, so for what it's worth, that's an advantage. I also picked up this little DeSantis holster, which I wasn't as thrilled with. This was on sale or clearance, actually, I believe, at Academy for $20 instead of the usual 25, I think it was. And it's a DeSantis. Yeah, I think it's called the Nemesis, I guess. I know that's a big holster. I don't know if this one was actually called the Nemesis or not. Interestingly, like I said, it was on clearance, I noticed, although it was only like $5 off. Got it for $20 instead of 25, like the other DeSantis Nemesis appeared to be. But what I noticed, it was labeled as for the Glock 42. I think it was the Glock 42. And that's it. Like, most of their holsters will say, like, for the M&P Shield and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And other subcompact 9mm, it'll say something like that. So it's kind of a catch-all holster. This one said for the Glock 42. And actually, I was comparing it. They had another one for them that said, like, all, it listed, like, 8 guns that was compatible with Ruger LC9, I think, M&P Shield. And I compared them, and it wasn't being discontinued. It was like $25. I compared them on the shelf right next to each other, and they look like the exact same holster to me. So I think I even was comparing SKUs, like, this is the same thing. They did have a different SKU on the barcode. What I'm thinking is that this is the same holster as the other one, but that they just, for some reason, they had this branded as a Glock 42 only holster. So they needed to, and they said, well, that's dumb. Let's just, it's the same holster as their catch-all subcompact 9 holster, but since it was only branded for one gun, they probably clearanced it out. And okay, now we're gonna. But it looked exactly dimensionally the same that I could tell as their other model that was on the wall that was for mini guns. Because like I said, this one says like on the packaging for Glock 42 or something like that, and that's it. It doesn't say for Glock 42 and any small 9mm or whatever. Or for Glock 42, and then there's 8 other models that can be used. But it fit perfectly, pretty much, I would say. It fits tight, but the interior material is slick, so it still comes out nicely. You can push it down in there. I was a little disappointed with this, too. At first, I thought it would be perfect because it has a big flap, which I like. Let me fix my camera here and hope I don't mess this up. It has kind of a big flap here, which I thought it'd be nice to fill out my pockets, because the one on my LCP kind of has a smaller flap, and it's kind of a little too small for my liking. So I thought, wow, this one has a nice big flap. This is going to be nice. This is going to fit this is what I want. This is going to fully fill out my pocket. I'm not so happy. It seems a little bulky, to be honest. I didn't notice this in my pocket, but it makes the whole thing kind of bulkier. Like this could just use to be a little thinner here. And another thing is it prints. It prints as bad or almost worse, because if you look at it, you know, once this is in your pocket, this goes away, or you know, you get this big outline. See what I mean? And this kind of fades away, so it almost makes the gun print worse, I thought. And the whole point of these holsters is to square the thing off and make them not print. Maybe that's because it's not designed for this gun or something, or the gun's too thick, or, you know, since it said only Glock 42. But I don't see, you know, as I said, it almost makes the gun print worse, was my initial impression. Because you're adding the thick holster material, and this kind of fades away, and this becomes more pronounced. And this overall shape looks like a gun, you know, as you'd expect. So, I don't know. I'll probably keep it just because other than that, I don't have any holster for this gun. So what do I like to, when I'm just leaving it around my house or whatever, and just need something to, to keep it from dust or whatever, just to lay it on a shelf or wherever you're going to store it, or lay it in a drawer, or whatever you do with it. Kind of need something on it. And since it's only $20, more than likely I'll keep it, unless I find something I want more. The packaging on this is basically a Ziploc bag, so it'd be really easy to package it back up and return it to Academy. So if I find a different holster I want more, I may well do that. But yeah, that's my thoughts and little mini review of the Kahr Cm9. Everything good, except for this little mag release issue, which isn't really an issue, but it's just, like I said, not the most positive mag release there. But it works, and it's fine. And perfect reliability the other day at the range, so no problems there. Alright, see you next video.